I'm Will,
And I'm Steven.
and this is the Post P Chronicles.
Chronicles.
Hey, what up, say? Yeah.
So, Will, I think I've seen this face before. Who do we got today?
You have seen this face before, maybe in a different light. This is Daryl Williams. And just to recap for the audience that don't know, we had an opportunity to interview Daryl to hear a little bit of his story while he was in prison on a cell phone. Yeah, so we got an opportunity to talk to him and get a behind the scenes look at life in there and the mindset of an individual while he's in there. But now he is free, and we can't wait to hear your story, man. So thank you for being on the show, Daryl.
You already know, man. You already know I'm happy to be.
Man, for sure. So, we start this question with every single guest. So, man, tell us where you're from.
I'm from San Diego, California. Um, Born and raised.
Born and
And
raised in San Diego, California. How
yeah.
was that? How old are you, first off, so we can get an idea? Because you look like you're about 16 years old. How old are
Hey, I appreciate that right there.
you?
29.
How old are
I'm
you?
29 years old.
29 years. What? Oh my goodness. 29
Yeah.
years old. That's crazy, man. So 29 years old. So you was born a while ago. So what was it like growing up in San Diego, California? Such a beautiful city.
Um, Growing up out there, I loved it. I'm gonna be honest, I did. I loved it, but growing up in the southeast, that's the ghetto part of San Diego. Um, it had its moments, you know, a lot of stuff going on. Grew up from bouncing around hotel to hotels and stuff like that. The gang life, that was there for sure. Um,
So let's start. Let's
but
go back a little bit. When you say bouncing from hotel to hotel, what was your household like that you had to bounce from hotel to hotel? And how old were you when this was going down?
I say first off, my household living situation before the hotels and stuff, it was pretty good. But once my granny passed away and everything like that, that's basically with my like who my mom depended on. Everybody that was grown depended on them.
Right.
And once we lost that house, we basically were homeless. So uh, we started bouncing from hotel to hotel. We started bouncing from hotel to hotel and everything like that. And that's just
How
what we
old were
had to.
you at the time?
I was around, I have to say, five, well, probably like 3, 4, 5, 6, around
Okay.
those ages.
Now, does a 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old know that they're homeless, know that they're bouncing around hotel to hotel? Or you just, I'm with my parents, I'm having a good time, I'm fun, or what's going through your mind at that time?
At that time, it was it was just survival mode. As a kid, you have to like basically get with the program. Listen to your mom, and she basically explains to you like, oh, this is serious. We have to do this. We have to do this for this reason. Um, so we just found the good in each situation as much as possible. Me and my sister.
Okay. So tell us some of those goods. Everything ain't bad, right? You bouncing from hotel to hotel, you getting with the program. Mom said, look, man, we just gonna thug it out. We're gonna thug it
Right.
out. Good. So tell us some of those good things before we get into anything else. I want to hear some good things about those moments.
Some of the good moments was just basically like family time when me and my sister were and my mom was chilling. My mom would just make us laugh. She would just like basically uh it was a song. I forget the song name, right? But me and my sister was just saying it not that long ago. But it was a song, and it goes basically like, well, I know. So she'll basically be popping up from behind the bed. She'll be rolling on the floor, doing all this like crazy stuff just to make us laugh. We be in there cracking up and everything. So that was like one of the good moments, and just us laughing, making family faces, and just doing as much as we can around the hotel or just going to stores. And one of our favorite things is being nosy and just talking about everything that we see, talking about people, everything, just making light of a negative situation.
Definitely. All right. So we heard some of the good things, but what I didn't hear was my dad, right? I heard
Oh yeah.
me and my sister. I heard my mom. I heard granny, but I didn't hear dad. So where was your dad at during all these times?
My dad was in and out of prison. Um, some places I just didn't even know where he was. So when he was out, he was just doing him,
Mm.
you know. So he was gang banging, messing with females, doing whatever he was doing at that time. You know, I didn't really know. I couldn't keep up with him. I was young, you
Did
know.
you have any
So I
sort of
really wasn't.
relationship with your dad?
Now, yes,
I
yes,
mean, back
now,
then, was there any sort of relationship with your dad then, or was it just he'd come in and out of the picture whenever?
yeah, it'd be more like coming out of the picture whenever.
Mm.
Yeah, it was pretty much that.
So how did that feel? You know, I know you were 5, 6 years old, but it seems like you remember a lot of how you felt in those moments and the happy times. But how did it feel not having your dad present? And I'm pretty sure some of your friends going to school, they had their dad. So how did that feel for you?
Honestly, I was kind of happy he wasn't around
Mm.
because really he was an abuser. So then he really wasn't around, so I didn't feel that love and care for him, you know.
Right.
So I was a person that always thought like, oh, when I grow up, I don't want to be nothing like him.
Mm.
So that was my mindset as a kid, you know. So yeah, that's how I was feeling.
Okay. So let's fast forward a little bit, 5, 6, bounce around from hotel to hotel, but having good time, a lot of family time, have thug it out. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But now you're, let's say 10, 11. What is life? Do you get to settle in a little bit? Do you find a place to call home? What's it looking like now?
Oh, 10, 11 for sure. We moved into our house over there in on Escuela Street in the neighborhood,
Mm.
and you know, it was good times there. It was good times. Stuff settled down. Um, my mom ended up having another kid, which is my little brother, Jay Sean and all that. So it was good times there, you know, but it's always drama. My mom was crazy. You know, she's crazy, so she gonna bring the drama wherever we go. So
You know,
it was
I
always
don't want to
something going on.
discredit your mom though. I mean, bouncing from hotel to hotel to get you a stable spot. You know, one thing Will and I we always highlight that there's like a missing father, and the mom's kind of like the mainstay. I mean, I know you said your mom was crazy, but to be able to go from bouncing from hotel to hotel to be able to getting you guys your own little spot, I think that's something to be said there. You know, we don't want to discredit mom completely, but
Oh
yeah,
no,
hey,
oh
and
no,
I
no,
know what
no,
you're
for
saying the
sure.
other way around.
No, no, for sure. She's a strong woman. I'm not gonna lie. Like to me, I feel like she is one of the strongest women I know. You know, so like from her to make it happen for us, me and my sister, and put clothes on our backs and feed us during those hard times, because we really didn't know we was kids, and it's hard as adults. Like especially now that I'm out of prison and I'm trying to figure my life out and get on my feet, get my own plays, own everything like that. I understand now, you know. I understand what, especially back then, it's just it's hard, especially on women doing it all by themselves. So that's for sure. I tell my hat to my mom. She tried to make it happen as much as possible, and she made a lot of things happen.
Mm. Yeah, she definitely made a
Yeah.
lot of things happen. So let me ask you this, because for all intents and purposes, right? It sounds like you still had a pretty good upbringing, right? Like you had love in the home, you
Oh
had
yes, for sure.
family, you had a sense of stability at a certain point, right? Everything
Right.
just wasn't chaotic. So where did things begin to turn?
As far as going inside the gangbang life and where I ended up,
Yes.
I say it started to turn when the tension inside my household. My mom started basically doing her, disappearing and stuff like that, going wherever she was going. So me and my sister was left alone to basically fend for ourselves and everything like that. So um, had me more involved in the streets. I started stealing stuff, little stuff, you know. Used to steal little scooters and jumping people's backyards and stealing apples and bikes and all that type of stuff. So we started doing that. But then when we moved to Skyline, as soon as I moved over there, it's basically like I just joined. So after that, it was just basically down. To be honest, it was basically downhill.
So let's speak to that, right? Because you said as soon as you moved over there, you just joined. And a lot of times, from personal experience, and I'm pretty sure you can say as well, the reason why people join gangs because they're searching for something, right? And so what were you searching for and what did you find?
Um, I found at that time camaraderie, unity, love, attention. I don't know if I was really like searching for it at that moment in time, well, consciously, but I had to be in order for me to want to join a gang, wanting to join something that no longer has meaning to it and isn't organized and together.
Right. So you join the gang, you jump off a porch. Now what is your life starting to look like? Because at some point, I don't think you didn't go do all that time for stealing no apples, right? You
Right.
so
right.
so what
Yeah.
happens? How do you start to progress? And what is where's your mom and how does your sister feel when you do start to progress and make a name for yourself?
As far as in that type of lifestyle, or now that I've changed
No, in that lifestyle. Yeah, we still in your
in that
early. You haven't
lifestyle.
went to prison yet.
Yeah, they didn't like it. They didn't like it. They were basically saying I chose my gang over family, and that was very much true. That's a full-time job to be a gang banger. Like not just a member, but a gang banger. That's a full-time job, and I took it serious. So
What would you
for me
say to
to
your
be
parents when they were like, or what would you say to your mom and sister when they said you chose gang over us?
honestly, sometimes I sit there quiet, or I just wouldn't say anything. To be honest, it was just like one of the moments, like no. I was basically saying no, but at the same time, that's what it is. You're choosing once you start going outside every night and you putting your life on the line and you're not caring about your family and how they feel and how they're thinking and how they're like stressing out because you're choosing that gang over your family. Like if your homie say, "Come on, let's go outside. We about to go do this and do this," but your mom and your family like, "No, don't do that. That's stupid. Like just chill with us." But you still decide to go out. You're choosing your gang over your family. You're risking your life over like just something that's pointless.
And now in your mind, you probably think that gang is your family and they care about you and that they're closer to them than your actual family, don't you?
Yes, for sure. For sure.
All right. So, your family can't talk to you, your mom can't talk to you, your dad's not in the picture. He's in and out. He's in and out. And you get wrapped up more in this lifestyle, right? And so walk us through the moment or the time where you didn't look back. And I guess the only thing forward was a prison sentence. Walk us through that moment. And your mindset. And the reason why I'm asking this, I want to get into the mindset because again, what we do with Post Pete, there's kids, as you know, who are going through the same thing that you went through, right? And their parents may be watching this and they don't know how to connect with their kid that's going through this. So maybe it's something that you say and how your thought process was at that moment that they can say, oh man, maybe I can talk to my kid about this. Maybe this is what they're missing. Maybe this is what they need to hear. So that's why I want to talk about what your mindset was at this moment when you committed your crime that got you so and so years in prison.
All right. To be honest, mine was a tad bit different from some of the people I know or like certain people's situations and stuff like that. I feel like I really needed to protect myself. It was dumb. I should never put myself in that situation. That's for sure. That's hands down. But I feel like I really needed to protect myself, and that's why certain things happened the way it happened. But I feel like
How old were you? Matter of fact, let's go to that. How old were you? Because we can't hear you right now. We can't hear you. The reason, so you say that you needed to protect yourself, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So you said you needed to protect yourself. So I want to talk about that because how old were you at that time?
At that time, I was 16 years old. I was only 16 for a month.
For a month. So you was a fresh 16, more 15 than 16, more 15 than 16, and you are in a position where you feel like you need to protect yourself. So you shoot first. Am I right?
Right.
What is the 15-year-old, what is a 16-year-old doing in a position where he has to shoot anyone? Right? So that's the big thing. Whether you had to defend yourself or not, you playing games where you have to have a gun. You have to be out there past your curfew. You doing things that no 16-year-old, 15-year-old should be doing. Am I right?
You're absolutely right.
But you did it. So let's talk about that. Now you what? You sitting in jail. How much time are you looking at in juvenile hall?
In juvenile hall, they said I'm facing up to 60 years to life. Then I ended up gambling. I took a deal from 5 to 27 years. They gave me 17 years with 2 strikes. Basically, I one time I ended up taking my deal from 5 to 27 years. And that right there just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, dang. Like I'm only 16. I'm getting 17 years. Like that's crazy. Like that's a crazy thought to have. Like as a kid. Like although I thought I was grown and I was making my own money and out in the streets all night and stuff like that, but that brings you back to being that kid. Like when you start hearing all that time, you like whoa, hold on. I went through a big depression at that time when I first got locked up. Because I felt like nobody could understand me, nobody could feel my pain, nobody really understands. So I shut down, stopped talking. I was depressed, going through court, going back and forth. I was a direct case 707, so I kept going back and forth to adult court, and it was hard. It was really hard. That right there made me want to change my life. It made me want to stop gangbanging. It made me actually hate my homies from my set. Because I
This is
felt like
before you even had to go to prison. You were already ready to make the change because the consequences were already hitting you like a ton of bricks. You're 16 facing 17 years, which to a kid, that's the rest of their life.
For sure. For sure. That's like a life sentence, all in one right there. And that made me just hate all my homies. Every time I seen one of my homies, I just had a problem. And I'm not getting that love and that treatment how I feel like I should be having. When another gang member, one of your homies get locked up, you have to write them, you have to tend to them, no, this is a dog eat dog world, so we all out here basically supposed to be an organization, a unit, but really everybody is their own person and everybody is by themselves at the end of the day.
So it's almost like a lie, in a sense. You was lied to.
Oh, no, for sure a lie.
Man.
Yes, it's for sure a lie.
I mean, one of the good things it sounds like
it's a brainwash.
One of the good thing it sounds like though, because there's these guys, Will and I interview, in their late 20s, 30s, or 40s, finally realize it's all a lie before they make the change. You, I guess, while you had to do the time, you were smart enough to realize this was a lie as a teenager, and now you're done with it.
Yes, for sure. So once I realized it's a lie, I'm to the point I'm just fed up. I'm like, I don't want to do this no more. That's when I started really reading and trying to gather as much knowledge as possible to actually be somebody in life, instead of just having being a legend in the gangbang world, which it doesn't do nothing. Like I have a name for myself. That didn't do nothing for me my whole 12 and a half years. It didn't do anything for me. Nothing beneficial. It put more money in my pockets, started businesses for me, anything. It haven't did anything for me. Nothing. Other than what? Scare some people that I seen in there or something like that. What's that? That's not nothing. It didn't do anything for me. Nothing. So that was kind of like a eye opener. Like, dang, when I started really realizing that clout that you have doesn't really do anything for you, it put a bad taste in my mouth being a gangbanger. It's nothing that good that really comes from it. I done lost my brothers in there that got out. You know, I done lost family members since I was in there. Um, and that hurt. That hurt when you can't do anything, go to no funerals, you can't see them one last time, no nothing. And one of my brothers actually passed away not that long ago, right before I got out. And that was one of my my road dogs.
Yeah.
And it's like, dang, I didn't have no more recent pictures of me and him together. I couldn't spend no more time with him. That hurt right there. That made me even want to do even better. So when I do things out here now that I'm free, I have him in mind the whole time. Like, yeah, bro, like you right here with me. You know, I'm basically living for the both of us.
All right. So,
you know,
and that's amazing. And I want to just highlight some of the things because I know you. I know
right,
you.
right.
You know, we were cellies for what, almost 2 years? Almost
True.
almost 2 years. And the person I met in there was always reading, writing raps, reading your Bible, reading
Right.
every book that can come your way, talk about starting businesses. And this is when, I mean, how old was you then? This is like 2012. It's like 12,
Yeah.
13, 14, something like that. It's like 10 years ago. So you were like
Right.
19 years old, 19, 20. You were
Yep.
19 at that time. And that's what you were doing at 19 and 20, talking about starting businesses and can I read books and how can I make my money make money? Like you had the mindset, and I didn't even know about this epiphany you had when they handed down that sentence. Like, man, this ain't for me. This is, and it's so many people. I mean, I talked to Stephen, you interviewed me the very first episode, and what did I say? I walk out the cell, we hard, I'm a gangster, and as soon as I go in the cell, I'm crying because I might never go home.
Exactly.
We cry because we never go home. Why? Because we're actually kids.
Yeah.
How hard we act, no matter how much pain we cause, at the end of the day, we were kids. We were kids, right? And so now you're not a kid anymore. And you did your time. You did. What'd you say? How much time did you do?
12 and a half years.
12 and a half years. What, sum that up. What was that 12 and a half years like? And what was it like for you? What was it like?
Be honest, my whole 12 and a half years, don't get me wrong, I had some decent times in there, probably like in juvenile hall or like CYA when I was in there. But to be honest, my whole 12 and a half years was hard. I wasn't in no good prisons. Well, good prisons, because I don't think no prisons is good.
Yeah,
But I wasn't in no prisons that had a lot of money flowing through it, where I could get on, where I could do this and do that and stuff like that. Like, you could communicate through prisons and stuff like that. So for me, knowing certain things that's going on other places, and I'm where a lot of riots is happening, stabbings, and all type of little crazy stuff is going on. I'm thinking like, dang, where food running low, family falling off and everything like that. Once you ain't got no food in yourself, you ain't even got no soup, or you just got one or two soups that you saving until dinner time so you can just throw it together. It's like, man, that feeling is horrible. That feeling right there when you hungry and you up in that cold cell and you over there just left with your thoughts, that right there hit different. That make you want to change your whole life. All you think about is freedom. All you think about, like, man, God, please just let me out. Let me live. Let me just be able to wake up one day and be up in a real bed. Let me wake up one day and not have to be up in a cold cell. So that right there just made my whole mindset switch. Like, look, I want more for myself. I want to be able to start my own business, start a real legacy, be a legend, something that I can be proud of.
It sounds like you were acting and moving different in prison than most people, and you were doing it at a very young age. And you said the dream was to get out, start businesses. The dream was, you can't wait for that day when you're not in that cold cell. Sounds like you're out now, obviously more frequent than others. So what is the dream that you're now going to go after?
Oh, for sure. All my everything that I've planned already, I'm putting those in motion. You know, I started a job. See, New York is different. I'm not gonna lie, New York is different. So I had to really learn all of this stuff. Like I basically only know a lot of stuff in San Diego and stuff like that, but and laws change and all that stuff as far as when it comes to business and LLCs and everything like that. So my all my plans are still the same. I still plan on starting all my businesses and the books I wrote for my nieces and all that stuff like that. So um, it's just going a little slower than what it was because when you're in prison, you're thinking, "Oh, okay, um, this is easy. I studied this, so oh yeah, when I get out, I'll be able to do this and I'll be able to do that." But really, it's not like that when you get out. It's different. It's different. Like you really in the real world now, you know? Like people are smart in prison, don't get me wrong. People are smart. We read the books, we study as much as possible and everything like that, but it's different. Things change so fast and things upgrade. Technology, businesses upgrade because of technology. It's just it's a different ball game. But
So what are
now
some
that
of
I'm
those
out here,
businesses you're trying to start? Let's hear some of the dreams. Come on, tell us.
well, I wrote about 6 books. I wrote a book about my niece because she got bullied in school. So I really wrote that. That's a true story, and it basically explains like how bullying isn't good. Basically, it has a good story in that everybody is equal. You know, nobody should basically be racist, no nothing. So I read that one. I wrote that book. Um, wrote a poetry book. I wrote another kid book. Another adult book, and also I made about like I drew up about 33 or something like that, 33, 34 toys. I also came up with an app and a website. I already started on the website. It's still under construction, but I started that website already. Then like long term goals is like basically like clubs and stuff. Like we used to have these clubs for kids that they could just come and have fun and everything like that. When I was younger, it was called bashes. So I want to do something like that for the kids so they could go over there and chill, you know, and be safe and be up in a good environment and stuff like that for the kids that like to hang out and be on blocks and everything like that. They can be up in a better environment indoors.
I love it. I mean, it's all, one thing Will can tell you and I can tell you, it's, because we're both to a degree building our dreams and building our businesses and building our futures. It just takes time. And, I say, tell everybody your dream because you don't know, I know someone right now is getting a book published, so I'm going to talk to them about, their publisher's information. Maybe I'll pass it your way and get you on the right foot. But I tell everyone, tell people your dreams, and you never know who they know, and they can help you out. Will says you're the quiet type, but if you're not talking, people aren't going to connect you with who you need to be with. So I already got gears. Will knows because I know a lot of people. I already got gears going in my head. Who can I connect this guy with? Because that's what I love to do. I love to see people succeed. If I have a connection to help you out, I'll try to exercise that. And I have one more question because this has been bugging me the whole episode. And I don't know if you really want to speak to it. You said you didn't feel safe. You said, your mom did the best she could. You said you felt love at the gang, love through the gangs, and they felt like family before obviously everything imploded. Tell me how big of a deal it was and the importance, or maybe the impact not having a father in your life you think made on you as a young boy.
Honestly, I still feel like I don't need a father, especially because I'm grown.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Kid, everybody needs a mother and a father. That's how it's meant to be. A male and a female makes a child. They should both be in that child's life. A father is there to groom his son to be a man. And, mother nourish and do her part as well. But a father is there to really be there, especially for his baby boy. A father should be in his kid's life for sure. And that causes a lot of people to actually grow up gangbanging, stealing, doing all type of stuff. People may not want to admit it or look at it that way, but not having a father can create a destructive child. Not all the time, but it can create a destructive child because the mother struggles more, and some mothers talk crap about not having that baby daddy around and stuff like that. So that already puts a bad image in your head. And that's when kids start saying, "Oh yeah, I don't need no father. I don't care about that. I don't." But really, you're still seeking that out as a child, if you know it or if you don't. You're still seeking that out somewhere. So a lot of people like to turn to the streets, especially if it's gangs around and stuff like that. They're looking for guidance, and that's what we all seek as children is guidance.
That's good. One thing I want to say to any man listening out there right now, prison, non-prison, going in and out of prison, you can break the cycle in your family, break that chains, just being a dad. You just need to be there. You got to be present in your son's life. And I know that's so important. And I know I'm looking at Will and I'm looking at you who, one day will probably be a dad. And it's like, you guys are going to be the ones to break that generational chain that, not having a father leads to gang members and stuff like that, because you're right. The father's discipline, the father's structure, the father is, teaching how to be a man, teaching how to treat women, teaching you to obey the law.
Right.
Also whoops your ass when you get out of line. They are the law of the house, right? So, mom, God bless them, they got to do their part, but they're more loving and nurturing. But without that dad, I love what you said. It takes two to make one, it takes two to raise one. So that's just good advice. And I really wanted to hear your take on it before we left here.
Right. Let me mention one more thing. Don't get me wrong. My dad, I have a good relationship with my dad. I love him. I respect him. I don't like how he left me back then. True. I do forgive him. He is a great person. A lot of people struggle with their own, they have their own battles to deal with, and maybe you never know. That was probably the best option for him to not be around or whatever the case is, but he is a good person. He's still trying to figure himself out and everything like that. So people should forgive certain people. Some people are just deadbeats. Don't get me wrong. Some people are just deadbeats. But, it's always good to have a father in the picture as well. A mother and a father, for sure. Makes it better out.
I just want to say, man, I'm extremely proud of you. Remember, I knew you when you was 19 years old.
Right.
Seeing your journey, and right before I came home, I ran into you. We spend more time, and just seeing your growth, and now hearing you out here. I knew that you'd be successful once you came out here. All those nights we talked about things like this on the yards where all the chaos was going on. We still had some great conversations inside those cells. We were building inside those cells, and it's good to know that on this side of the wall, you continue to build. So I'm extremely proud of you, and I'm excited to see what your future looks like, bro.
Appreciate it. You already know. We was over there studying. We used to sit and study, compare notes.
Man,
that's not going to waste. I can't do that. I can't do it.
Definitely, man. Well, look, man, we appreciate you for being on the show, and I hope your story touches many, many people, man, because it's one to be heard. And once again, I'm Will.
And I'm Steven.
This is Post P
Chronicles.
Hey, what up, say? Yeah.